So today we're going to be opening the Paragon Navigator 864 count ribbon cable, a dielectric cable. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our tubing cutter. You can use a tubing cutter, you can use a hook knife razor blade. There are a couple different ways to open cables. I like this because it gives me a nice clean cut. And because there's no armor here, it's very difficult to detect how deep you're cutting the jacket. So you want to be very careful because you don't want to cut the tubes. This cable, when you're doing a butt end open like this, if you cut a buffer tube, it's not serious, but if you were doing a mid sheath on this cable, you want to make sure that you're not getting into any of the buffer tubes. So start off by cutting this. Yes, typically this usually won't slide off when you pull it off. So I use my same hook knife. We use the hook knife because we want to get in, get under the jacket, but we don't want the sharp blade on the tube. So basically we can just work this all the way down, and then we can loosen the jacket and it will pull right. We're just going to start by walking the string down. And then we go to our other side, and it pulls pretty easy through the jacket. Armor can be kind of tough, especially if you end up on top of the seam. But for this here, so you can either walk it down like I did before you pull, or you can actually just start a pull. So what we're going to do now is you can do this step either at the beginning of the cable prep, or you can do it like I'm doing it now when you're getting down to the end. So we're basically trying to create a cut in the cable. And pull my string through the cut. And now, as we pull cable out, now we have the jacket is actually folding at the seam. And I've got all the tubes opened up. And the process for prepping the cable is the same as any loose tube. Important thing is to have a trash can handy. So now we're going to start unraveling the bundles. So the remaining steps where you cut away all of these spacer cables. Okay, so now you have everything opened up to the buffer tube level. At this point in time, you would trim your strength member, you would clean all your tubes, you would determine what length of ribbon that you want to enter each tray, you would cut off your buffer tubes. I like to keep the buffer tube intact and use this tubing as a transportation tube inside of my enclosure. So when I go from my storage tray at the bottom, I use this tube with the same fibers in it. I transport those up to the tray that they're going to be going into. And that is your 864 stranded ribbon cable.